Dit is Tussen Ons. En kyk, net voor die breek het ons vir Hen en daarin baie geniet. En al sy sê goed. Nou so 'n paar maande terug het hy mos sommer vir Mrs Jones gesê, as jy lees sal jy presteer. Onthou julle daai? Nou ja, maar grappies op 'n stokkie. Dit is die waarheid. Ongelukkig het almal nie die toegang tot boeke of leesgoed nie. Om ons meer te vertel is Robert Coutts van Nelson Mandela Library Project vanaand hier. Kom ons verwelkom hom asseblief. Robert, welkom hier op Tussen Ons. Kom ons praat 'n bietjie oor die Nelson Mandela Library Project.
Okay, it's a project that has been running for just over 10 years. It was something that Mr. Mandela and myself started back then, where he made it very simple. He said, there's no ways we will help every single child out there, but we have a responsibility to give every child access to something that allows them to help themselves.
Sure.
And if education is going to be it, let's start with the simplest part of education, literacy. And so we set about a project, a task, to educate kids in two particular phases. Phase one was around HIV and AIDS and what to do when you're impacted with that. And we managed to run that program to 845,000 children in South Africa, in the schools. And phase two is about taking literacy and books to children and changing the factor of literacy in primary schools predominantly, because
It's early childhood development.
early childhood development. Because the UN came to us and said, one of your biggest problems is that the kids drop out of school in high school because they can't read properly.
With comprehension.
With comprehension. But more importantly, what was happening is the kids would get ostracized because now they're in high school, they're supposed to know how to read. And if you can't read, you can't learn. And so we get the kids dropping out of school, and of course, all the wrong things start to happen. So we started the program on a global basis. We work with a number of global organizations. And we started saying, what are we going to measure? And the World Forum came to us and said, grade 5 literacy is where we measure the world. And we said, well, South Africa is different. We don't do it that way. Grade 1 to 3, we learn in local language. Grade 4 is the first time they really start to touch English in school. So give us a little bit of a leeway. But in the meantime, we're still measuring grade 5. And in South Africa, amongst the 28,000 schools, our literacy ratio, unfortunately, is around about 32%.
Sure.
So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. I'm happy to say, though, we're up to 200,000 children a day at the moment in the reading programs. About 136,000 of those have direct access to one of the Mandela libraries we installed, which we install for free. Obviously donor funded, but our target's 2 million.
So
2 million children a day.
What kind of books do you have? Is it about social issues like HIV, or is it general to teach them to read with comprehension?
No, you're absolutely right. So we call them aspirational and inspirational books. We can't really get the kids into the library if there's textbooks. It just doesn't seem to work. So yes, we put in the things of the day, reading books, and very important you said that, because what we try to do is we put in early learning readers. And we've actually just launched and made our own because we couldn't get anyone else to make one. So we created the Long Walk to Freedom in a series of 12 early learning readers in every local language in this country.
Sure.
So that every grade 1 to grade 3 can learn about the ethos and about Mandela and the Long Walk to Freedom. And then when they go to grade 4, that exact same book with the same pictures, same words, is in English. And the transition suddenly becomes a lot easier for the kids to start now comprehending in English. So yes, we fill it with early learning readers, but more importantly, we actually throw in a whole lot of extra stuff like National Geographics. And we throw in all the teachers' magazines as well. Because you've got to get the teachers in there as well. You know, you've got to give them something to look forward to. It's not always just kids, because if the teachers aren't there helping the kids, it doesn't work.
Nou, hoe gereeld installeer julle hierdie biblioteke?
Okay, so the libraries themselves are managed under a system of soul buddies. So we use kids. We have this kids organization run by Soul City called Soul Buddies, and they actually run the libraries, and we facilitate it with a facilitation mechanism. that allows a teacher to circulate in an area provincially or regionally, and then we choose 2 or 3 teachers in each school, and we then basically get them to run the libraries for us, and it's extremely successful. I mean, we've got libraries that are well over 8 years old already that are running perfectly still.
That sounds incredible. Nou Robert, ons het vanaand hier 'n baie goeie vriend van ons van die Relate Bracelets vir taaljaar. Kom ons verwelkom hom asseblief. Welkom, is altyd lekker om jou te sien.
Ag, lekker om hier te wees. Baie dankie.
Nou, wat het Relate Bracelets en die Nelson Mandela Library Project in gemeen?
So laas jaar was dit die 100ste geleentheid van Nelson Mandela se verjaarsdag, ekskuus. And we basically partnered and decided to have a big initiative with a lot of corporates to raise money to create, opportunities in terms of getting more libraries out there. So, of course, this is the 100th edition bracelet, which we created, sold many of them, and it's been a great story. As you know, Relate, basically, we work as a function to create employment in the poorest areas in South Africa and raise money for various charities around South Africa. So, that's what we do.
En jy het toe dan nou besluit om geld in te samel hiervoor, en jy is hier vir 'n belangrike aankondiging.
Ja, jy weet, dit was 'n ongelooflike jaar. We've managed to raise close to 500,000 rand, so... And as we know, that equates to 2 libraries, which is just incredible, and we're honored to be part of it, and thank you for the opportunity to work with you, Robert.
It's unbelievable. I cannot tell you how much stuff like this actually means to us. We're a completely donor-funded organization. It's not that this buys 2 libraries or installs 2 libraries. Each one of those libraries will service roughly about 1,200 kids a year, every year for 15 years.
Wow.
So you got to think about that. The books going to these libraries for free for those 15 years, no problem. No questions asked, we stock those books and we keep them coming and we keep them rolling. So, if you just get to change 1 kid's life or 10 kids, out of that you've got 15 years, 2 schools, that's over 30,000 children who will pass through the system. I mean,
it's incredible.
Absolutely fantastic. But, Relate do a great job, I must tell you, but it's actually you people that buy these that make the difference. At the 50 Rand for this little thing, you need to understand that of that 50 Rand, 40 Rand's going to the charity. 40 Rand's going to the charity. I mean, it's nearly most of the bracelet. That's absolutely fantastic.
Dit is fantasties. Ons kan nie wag om te sien wie se lewe en al die kinders se lewens wat julle gaan verander hiermee nie. So baie dankie die Relate Bracelets, baie dankie en vir die werk wat julle ook doen. Robert, nog 'n applaus vir hulle asseblief. Nou baie dankie vir julle almal ook dat julle saam gekyk het. Onthou, gaan na kykNET en kies op Facebook page om meer foto's en video's te sien. Tot volgende week. Totsiens.